Okay, let's try some testing first. Let's see if my voice hears correct. Kind of a staple, I guess. Checking OBS working. Apologies, I had a bit. I had to. Correct? Yeah, it sounds correct. Yes. Let's see if OBS holds up or my internet connection. Give me a moment. I close this. Okay, I have to write this thing again. So yeah, welcome. Give me a moment, and I will do the proper introductions again. Let's see. Okay, it seems to be holding up. Okay, give me a moment, and I'll be with you in. Okay, seems to be holding up. That's good. I had to do an entire reset. I don't know what's actually going on. Okay, that's it. All right, so yeah, that should be it. So welcome back to my channel. I'm Shadow Meowth, and today we're going to be tackling the end of the Introduction Championship. Like, if you've watched the previous, my previous stream of the event, you see that there were some things that kind of blew my mind, and it's kind of difficult because since the story has been like one day, then a day of resting day, then again another day, and so on and so forth. And it's I mean, it's been only 2 days, but it was like how should I put it? Like, it really didn't give me enough time to process my thoughts as I usually do for lore diving and theory crafting and, well, thinking about stuff. And after last stream, that there was that line that kind of nearly broke my mind, and I actually do sort of plan, if there's enough interest, to make a video about that, talking not just about that line, but also some other things that caught my interest about this event. Of course, if I do, I'm nowhere near other Genshin lore divers, because I mean, I have my sphere of work and I'm still kind of training myself on Genshin lore, learning from the big names, of course, and people that, of course, know more than I know at this point. But if I do, I will likely be referring to their theories, but adding my insights. But of course, credit where credit's due. So yeah, that's how I will probably do it. I'm not sure if I will record a video or if I'll do it on the stream. I'm not sure because my video editing capabilities are basically zero. Like, so yeah. Okay, let's head straight into it. Again, so if I was saying, if my voice sounds somewhat hoarse, it's because I basically just woke up. So yeah, apologies for that. I need a bit of warm up. And because of the stream, and at the time I'm streaming this, I'm probably I knowing how much I rumble. I am probably going to, have to skip lunch. So yeah, that's great. I mean, it's not that like I'm not used to skipping meals, either because I'm broke or because I forget about eating. But yeah, fun fact about my life. It's fine. Okay, so so yeah, the thing that kept bugging me. There were many things that, of course, I'm assuming that they're going to be answered this final part of the event. But uh, but yeah, there was the message that Al Haytham left. That line is still bugging me. And as I was yesterday, I had to go out for food, and as I was walking down the street, I was thinking on the situation, and I was like, so yeah, it was like Al Haytham left the message in this Kingdom Dashrush script because it's like the script of their joint project that's incidentally the one that caused their fallout, like I said. And but it's mentioned by Kabe himself that like, even though Al Haytham said you may be interested in reading these notes, Kabe was like, nah. That's something that usually happens with this too, because yeah, the problems, Kabe called it disdain. I really doubt it's disdain. It's the bro frenemies tension vibe. It's not antipathy. It's kind of this sort of rivalry, and I think on Kabe's case it's mistrust, as it usually happens to Haytham, not just from him, but from everyone else, thinking that he has like ill intentions and stuff, and that's probably the furthest from reality. But yeah, I have ranted about this so many times. But yeah, basically, so my thought was like, yeah, he left this thing in case Kabe was let go of that pride of his, so to read Al Haytham's notes on Sachin's state, and the whole inheritance thing. But if not, then he kind of accounted. My guess is that he kind of accounted for someone else to prompt Kabe into reading that, and that one would be the Traveler, of course. So I'm kind of imagining that he kind of accounted for that. But in the situation that Kabe was curious enough to read the notes, he also read the message in a way that only he could read that. But I think he accounted too for the Traveler intervening and giving Kabe a nudge. So that's my opinion as of now. I'm not sure if that's the case, and for some reason, knowing Al Haytham, it's likely that we will not get a proper answer. Like his modus operandi is basically read between the lines, and that's kind of And I really like that. I really like trying to interpret and read between the lines, but also can be very frustrating because you don't have like a definite answer. So it gives a lot of room for interpretations, and nothing you're saying can be considered the truth. But I guess that's part of his character as well. So it's like, I like to make my own guesses, but when you're trying to defend a point, then you only have to rely on your guesses. Then again, considering his character, it makes complete sense, and I really appreciate that. Achieving that end on the on the developer's side. That's not easy. That's not something not easy at all to achieve. So yeah, but that's basically those are basically my thoughts. Like I said, I thought that I already mentioned that I thought that I can realize either, and this is something that I actually realized later, because at the moment when they were drawing the lots in the desert, and Kabe unexpectedly wins, Farusan makes the comment that after all your tribulations on the desert, you deserve that, and it's when Al Haytham is like, huh. And which is something that, if you kind of know his body language, he mostly speaks with his eyes, and he's like, his eyes widen, and it's like, huh. And you know that's the moment he's realized something. But at first I thought it was because he may have realized that Farusan may have rigged the lots as to give Kabe the points, but he chose to say nothing. But it then also then going through what Dory mentioned about the 20 years ago, and apparently there's a line I miss about Skara. We mused about 20 years ago, and we know that Skara is in a mission, likely given by Nahida, I guess. In this championship, apparently there's been some weird things going on, like in the championship, and Al Haytham. I'm not sure if Al Haytham is also being tasked by Nahida with investigating these events, or it could be entirely with him. It could be either that the sages, between quotes, put him as commentator, but in truth he's actually watching the competition, how it unfolds. But it may also be Nahida's doing, or it may be entirely his own galaxy brain at work, realizing that something's off. With him, it's always like you have a wide range of possibilities, and yeah, and I think when Farusan mentioned Kabe's tribulations in the desert, Al Haytham realized that, maybe it's happening again, and that's when he started. He not started, but maybe when he made his move, because as of now we don't know where he is, but I guess he'll be back for. I mean, right now he's here, but yeah, that's just because he's my character, but he's my own field character. So, but I mean, in the event, like he's probably back, and he's probably not going to give any explanation, and that's going to annoy everyone. But yeah, that's how it is. That's how he is. So yeah, I kind of count on that, and yeah, I'm kind of speculating here. I wanted to get this out of my system. I assume that we're going to get answers after that. So yeah, so okay, let's first things first. That reminds me that today's Monday, so I can. That also reminds me that we're about to get Baiju and Kabe, and my Primogems are not looking good. That's going to hurt. Uh, I kind of spent all I had trying to getting Nilu. I lost the 50-50 to catching. Fuck my life. And then I spent on Nilu, and getting Baiju and Kabe is going to hurt like quite a bit. But I'm ready to make the sacrifice, all for the sake of Dendro plant men. I'm sorry. It's not just because I like both characters, it's because I also plan to make a Bloom team, and Baiju and Kabe would be great for that. So yeah, it's basically trying to build that team and pray that 3.7 doesn't come with Alhaitham's rerun, because I want to keep working on his constellations, like I said. But anyways, okay, let's see. Gatherings and partings. That's interesting. Like I said, that's an interesting name for the quest. But I'm not sure if I have thoughts on that. So, the International Championship is coming to a close. The diadem notice it's at the finish line, awaiting its wearer to claim the crown. Okay, so quest should be where? Damn it all! I said go to quest, and it didn't. Wait till the following day. Okay, fine. 7 a.m. Okay. That's fine. Almost. Apparently not.
The scribe's work is simple. Which is
I hate
exactly
when this
why
happens.
I
Because technically it was the following day, yeah. My bad. Let's watch time. That makes me think that I recently re-listened to Pink Floyd's Time and some other Pink Floyd's themes. It's always like a blast when I do. Less Pink Floyd. Okay. Let's see.
Paimon just heard that the Matra have arrested
Oh.
some Eremites who snuck into the city. Maybe they were the ones plotting to kidnap Sachin. Let's go to the Akademiya and check with Araf.
Okay, so the assassins have been apprehended. That reminds me. I actually have to do the reputation quiz later and get my glider finally. My first reputation glider. Okay. Let's go and see what's news. Hey Arab, do you remember Alhaitham? Surely you do. Former acting Grand
You're here. Sorry, I was just about to send someone to inform you. I only just finished interrogating the suspects.
Okay.
What did you find out?
Well, lots of unexpected details, let's put it that way. The mercs themselves were surprisingly easy to catch. We just had someone dress up as Sachin and they took the bait. But then it starts to get messy. During the interrogation, we learned that they were hired by Sachin's own child.
What? Why would someone want to kidnap their own father? What's up with that?
It's anybody's guess at this point. In any event, apparently the guys we caught are just the tip of the iceberg. Most of them are still snooping around outside the city.
So that's kind of a. I mean, it could be way. It could be way more complicated than this. But if they were hired by Sachin's own son, and the whole thing is that Sachin's intention is to make someone from the championship the inheritor of his estate. Regardless, I don't think it's related to winner or not, but it could be. I don't know. But if such is the case, I mean, this could be what the quest is leading me to believe, as in that that Sachin's son wants the state of his father to himself, as that should be how an inheritance should work, technically, between many quotes, since technically the inheritors, the one the person chooses, not but by default. I don't know how it's in different countries, but here basically by law a part of an inheritance has to go to the direct descendant or family member. It's kind of how it works, unless specifically stated by if there's no testament. So that's kind of complicated, but yeah. But maybe there's something else here that we don't know, and we're making wrong assumptions about the son's motivations, and it may be that everything's like, always keep your mind open for both sides of the story, because it seems to be leading here that the son is the evil guy, but it may well turn into Sachin being a fraud, Always keep an open mind. Everything can be until we don't have evidence. We make our own guesses, but no one's guilty nor innocent. So yeah, like a tip for not just in analyzing in-game narrative or making theories, but real life as well.
We're diverting manpower as we speak to try and round them all up. Would you like to come along?
Sure! Let's go get to the bottom of all this!
I mean, we're going to get roped anyway, so... Okay. Go to the kidnapper's camp. Oh, okay. This is probably my favorite statue at the 7 in all of Sumeru. I usually look out here. Okay.
Are you sure this is the right place? Something feels off.
What?
I'm positive.
Oh.
I don't understand why they're all unconscious on the
Okay.
ground.
I thought for a moment that they were they were dead. So yeah, at first that was a bit creepy. Though I would have preferred the impact if they were dead, but that's just me. I'm weird. Let me be. Okay.
Boss, we got more company.
Oh.
Look, we were just doing what we were paid to do. You're punishing the wrong people here. You want the real culprit? It's this guy. He hired us to kidnap Sachin.
What happened? Who beat you all up?
Wait, you mean you aren't with them?
With who? Who did this?
Huh.
First there was this flying brat. Didn't bother asking any questions.
Okay,
just started
Skara.
throwing punches. After that, some guy wearing green came along and interrogated
That
us for a
should be
bit.
Alhaitham.
I've got the confirmation I needed. This is the one who masterminded this whole plot. Jawani, Sachin's son. If you have any questions for
dressing
him, now's your chance to
green?
ask them. When you're done, I'm arresting them all and taking them back to the Akademiya for further interrogation.
I mean, I guess Alhaitham was green in a sense, but he also dresses in black because of her avatar. But the interrogation is sure like one of Alhaitham's best points. But so let's assume that he was talking. Definitely one was Skara. Let's assume the other one is Alhaitham, and that would basically confirm my suspicions that they're working together. Okay, if that's the case, if I get further confirmation on that, then I shall pat my own back a bit. Okay.
So why did you hire people to kidnap Sachin?
Okay.
What do you think? 20 years ago, he upped and left to go and live a carefree life, not giving a second thought for my welfare. As if that's not bad enough already, he went and put his entire fortune in the care of the Akademiya, along with a contract saying that one day he'd pass it all on to a genius he admired. That's my inheritance, by rights. You expect me to sit back and watch it go to someone else?
Yeah.
If he won't give me what's mine, I'll just have to take it from him.
So here's the thing. This is, I don't know how exactly this obvious is in other countries, but like this is a very this is like the most common of plots out there. Like I'm not sure. I can only speak for my country or Europe as in general, because like we do have a long tradition of inheritances in basically European culture, I guess. But I don't know over in other countries how it is, so I can't really speak as of how obvious it should be for other people. But yeah, basically, well, that's that. I mean, that's why I speculated. So they're planning
Of
to.
course! Didn't he say he would be here somewhere, watching the championship from the shadows? So, I figured I'd get some people to nab him. Then I make him change the contract. And if the Akademiya doesn't agree to hand over the goods, I make him publicly announce that I'm his chosen genius.
Sure, mate. You're the chosen genius. Okay, that's. So you find him.
No, the old fart knows how to stay hidden. I'll give him that. He's probably cooped up somewhere watching all this go on and laughing to himself. I already thought he'd gone mad 20 years ago. And who knows what a madman's truly capable of.
So the thing, something weird happened 20 years ago, and Alhaitham had the diadem of knowledge, like, circled in his notes, and that's usually a sign that that's important. Well, no, not usually. That's a sign that that's important. What do you know about the diadem of knowledge?
Diadem of knowledge? You mean that thing he donated to the Akademiya? Well, I can tell you that it's very expensive. He sold a lot of assets to purchase it back in the day. Weird things started happening after he brought it home, too. For example, sometimes we'd hear a high-pitched voice coming from the storage room.
What? So it's cursed. I mean, of course, I'm just kind of joking, but I assume that this is going to be deeper than just a cursed object. But yeah, I mean, if you recall the first scene in the stage when the traveler, when in this case Lumine, gets to see. I mean, I try to remember to speak of the traveler as the traveler, but I have Lumine in my screen, and I happen to really like Lumine, so maybe sometimes you will be catching me referring to her, well, to the friend, the traveler, just saying Lumine. So basically, the traveler had like a vision of who I assume was Sachin, musing about human nature being conflict and stuff in front of the diadem of knowledge. So that was creepy. I mean, well, when I say creepy, I say interesting. I like these creepy things. So yeah, so there's something going on with the item. That's definitely for sure.
Also, before donating it to the Akademiya, he once shut himself in that same storeroom and researched it non-stop for days. Something was already seriously wrong with him by that point. Nothing he did shocked me.
What do you mean, something wrong with him?
I only have a vague memory of it. since I was very young at the time. But I have the impression that he went out into the desert for research and didn't return for many years. When he finally did return, he was a changed person. He would mumble incomprehensibly and write essays day and night.
This doesn't sound like forbidden knowledge, but like the symptoms of forbidden knowledge. But with the desert, you never know, because then there's also King Dershret's civilization with weird things and machines and stuff, and it's like could be so many things. Could be ley line disruption. Could be like mate. Sumeru is just filled to the brim with weird mental stuff going on. Really, like well.
I asked if I could see what he'd written, but he chased me out of the room. Later, he went out somewhere and took his written essays with him. When he got back, he signed his contract with the Akademiya. Part of me wonders whether he'd already stopped being my father by that point. Perhaps the man we called Sachin was a demon from the desert who was wearing his skin.
Like, you know, this sounds like a throwaway line, but it reminds me of Al-Haytham on the other note that Al-Haytham circle, like Sachin, dead or alive, unknown. And it's possible that's... I mean, I'm not sure if this would be an imposter, but it could be. It could be the case, because I'm thinking of Al-Haytham's notes. And I do trust Al-Haytham's notes. I mean, they're vague as they are. I'm keeping his notes on my mind because I'm sure that's going to be really relevant. But I'm kind of considering... So it's not that unusual to have a cursed object with something else living inside of it, and then some. It's a very classical. It's a very classic trope, I guess. And then someone is offered power temptation or knowledge temptation, and then they wear it or they use it or stuff, and then the entity inside takes control, and yeah, that's kind of a really used trope. But yeah, I mean, I'm just speculating with what we have. And I know that if I just kept going, I would learn about that. But where's the fun on that? I'm a lore diver. I'm a theory and kind of a theory crafter myself. So there's no fun in if I just let things pass by, you know.
Okay, you can stop now. You're creeping Paimon out.
You can believe me or not. Doesn't matter to me. I told you all I know. But if you do see Sachin, tell him this for me. Whatever it is that he's researching out there, he'll always be garbage in my eyes.
Savage.
You finished? In that case, come with us. Well, we finally caught the guy behind all this. Thanks for providing us with the critical information.
Okay.
Do you still have any lingering concerns?
Yeah, the diadem of knowledge. This sounds kind of sketchy.
Yeah, Al-Haytham's notes.
Thank you,
that
Paimon.
item.
Scribe Al-Haytham looked into this matter. Understood. Well, if you believe there to be an issue with the diadem, I'd suggest contacting the organizers and getting them to pause the competitions while we investigate.
That makes sense. Okay then, let's get back to the venue. We need to tell Karina what's going on.
So yeah. Scribe Al-Haytham is right here, but at the same time he's not. But you get that. But I really doubt that we're going to get an answer at this point. That's not his style. You know his style. His style is basically, I'm going to use Nahida here. His style is basically you know, use your brain. And if you can't, skill issue. That's basically his style. Which is actually, if you ask me, extremely based. Okay.
Karina!
Okay.
You're finally back. Where have you been? I looked everywhere for you.
Oh,
The third round
great.
has already
F.
started.
We were out capturing some bad guys who wanted to kidnap Sachin. But that's not important right now. We think there might be something wrong with the Diadem of Knowledge, and we'd like to investigate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The diadem? That seems unlikely. The Diadem of Knowledge has been used in every extravaganza over the last 2 decades, always without incident. Why has this come up now?
Well, we have some new information that's come to light. Yeah.
This is pretty serious. Let me think. Okay, here's the situation. The Diadem is currently in Mount Ima Forest. We moved it there before the third round began. In the third round, contestants have to go into Mount Ima Forest, find the Diadem, bring it back, and place it on the stand. The first person to do this gets 4 points. Considering how close the scores are between our contestants, whoever wins this round is very likely to be the winner of the whole competition. As such, I suspect competition to be very fierce. You might not make it in time.
Well, you have to give it a shot.
I'll mark the Diadem's location for you. Please head there immediately. Let's hope nothing happens.
All right, let's go.
Okay. That's
weird. The locator stopped working. Is the forest interfering with it? Ugh. Let's just go grab the diadem.
well. Okay, no thoughts. Fine. Marvelous. So this is Multi-Ama Forest. Okay. Let's see. So yeah, this is kind of reminding me of the. I mean, the whole thing is kind of so very much like, I guess, how's it called in English? That's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Yeah, the whole what's its name in English? The Triwizard Tournament, and this is like getting the, I mean, the cup, which is the Triwizard Cup, but it's instead of being 3 schools, they are basically 6 schools. Huh. I mean, I mean, I've never been like much of a Potterhead. I read the books, of course, but it's not like oh, what's this? Is this a red Palisara? Huh. Okay. So I like the books, but I never been like obsessed with it. Like I really it intrigues me, the lore and stuff, but never been so much of a fan, I guess. I mean, I like it, but not to the point of, you know, when it was all the fever and stuff. So I'm rather I don't know, neutral towards it. Well, not neutral. I like it, but like, yeah, like I'm not an expert. I remember things because of when I read books. That's all. Okay. So where the heck is the diadem? I see an animal slime, and I don't want to beef with the slime. Nahida, please, sweetie, thank you.
Uh-oh. This place looks empty. Did someone already take it? Well, we might as well head back and see if anyone's turned it in.
Okay, let's see. I've been bamboozled. Okay, let's see. So that's the finish line. Okay. Ah, I see Ahitham and Nilu over there. Hey! I'm here! Oh, it's a mushroom. Okay, let's see. Oh, cutscene.
Oh, looks like Layla has seized the diadem. But getting to the goal won't be easy.
Comparison. Oh.
That guy enters the fray.
They're using the themes for each character, musical themes. Whoa, Sino!
Horizon's device has gone haywire.
The competition is heating up. Oh. And here's Kaveh bringing up the lead.
Eat. Welp. What?
It's Kaveh's toolbox.
Brock!
Bring the diadem to its owner.
Yes, that's right. Put the diadem in place, and you shall gain all you desire.
Who are you? I need you to get out of my head!
I am confident that you will not disappoint me.
What just happened to me?
Something's wrong.
Oh. Okay, that was really intense. That's really interesting.
At long last, someone to inherit my estate, and with it, my research. Come, Kaveh. Come to me, my child.
That's not suspicious at all. Sarcasm.
How do you know my name? Who are you?
I am Sachin. Well, to be precise, I am but a fragment of Sachin's mind. Fate is a curious thing. Seeing you reminds me of another I once met. But you are made of sterner stuff than he. More cognizant of the trials and tribulations of this world. It is you who are worthy to inherit all that I once owned.
I wonder if he's referring to Kaveh's father. Huh.
We meet for the first time, children. But what I mean to say now is of utmost importance. So please, pay attention and bear witness. You have all performed outstandingly in this Interdashant Championship. The Akademiya has many rare talents among its ranks, and you are the creme of the creme. But if I were to choose a successor, I would choose you, Kaveh. Not only because you are victorious, but also due to our similarities in character.
I'm not trusting this guy. I have my suspicions. I really don't. But maybe he has a point. Let's hear him.
Me? Similar to you?
Why, yes. Both of us have the misfortune to be idealists. And that is the source of our misery.
He's not wrong.
28 years ago, I came to the desert and lived there for 8 full years. What do you think I saw there? Alas, endless strife and slaughter. Conflict over water sources. Robbing of merchant caravans. Exploitation of the people relentlessly, day after day. Beyond the wall of Samiel lay a completely different world from the one I knew.
So yeah, this is like the life of the desert was pretty much unknown for many people of the rainforest, and it shouldn't be, since all of them are Sumeru. But I don't know. I don't recall. I mean, there's that. I think it was the teaser trailer saying that the wall was meant to protect Sumeru, but in the end it turned into protecting the rainforest by some, even though everything should be Sumeru. But then again, the desert only came to be after a pep was nailed by Celestia, because everything before that was rainforest. So it's kind of like, yeah. Anyways.
The things I witnessed there tormented me greatly. I wished desperately to find a way to save them.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you find a way?
As a Vahumana scholar, I tried to use Vahumana knowledge to find the answer.
Huh. So basically finding... So Bahumana is the faculty of etiology. That's basically history and social sciences. Makes sense. History, so social sciences, political sciences, I guess. Since Skara was writing about political issues in Azuma, and that's what got the interest of Bahumana scholars. Yeah.
I researched history and anthropology.
Yeah, anthropology as well. Yeah,
performed countless experiments on human nature, and even sought out the scholars living deep in the desert who called themselves
Damn
the
it.
Lost Darshan.
I still have to finish that quest. I mean, I started it, but I haven't finished yet. Damn it! I should have. The Lost Darshan from the other part of the desert.
But in the end, I found that the answer I sought simply did not exist.
Mm-hmm.
It was not possible to simply assign blame for these transgressions to any one party, for the sins are carved into humanity's very nature. Our nature begets conflict, and conflict begets destruction. This is the inexorable truth.
Those are the lines that Sachin, as we saw him as the traveler saw him, was saying. Since coming to humanity's very nature, nature begets conflict, and conflict begets destruction. Yeah. And I have thoughts regarding many things. And you over there, you have to do with these thoughts. So, but for now, let's keep going.
The aim of my research was to draw lessons from history. But what I discovered was that history offers no such guidance. Things can only ever go from bad to worse.
History offers no such guidance. Yeah, I mean... it's bound to repeat, regardless, because history is written, as Apep said, history is written by the victors. And the victors will always try to downplay their mistakes. So if we are to learn from our mistakes in an objective way, we should have both versions, so to have more insights as to how to prevent the mistakes of the past. But since there will always be one party that will try to make themselves appear as the virtuous and the victorious, and the other side were the foes to be vanquished, then we will never have a completely objective account unless we were observed by a third party that's completely neutral to every single side of the conflict. Think of that as if us humans were being observed by aliens, and the aliens who are not involved in our conflicts, they kept a record of our history. Basically, that's why I think Zhongli mentioned that the traveler is like the best witness to Tevat's history, since the traveler is at the center, so not involved into Tevat's innate conflicts. So like the best observer, objectively speaking. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling here.
After this realization, I could no longer see the meaning in anything that I had ever learned. Consumed by an overwhelming sense of emptiness, I could no longer bear to face life. And so, I decided to bring my life to an end.
Okay, so he unalived himself, so to speak. So it makes me... So that's... So that's exactly that line here, his views on life, that's nihilism, and that's what Al-Haytham mentioned in his note. Lofty ideals may not be a defense against nihilism, but little decisions can. I think this line is way more lore chart than just narratively here. But here we see the lesser scope of the line. And that makes me think that Al-Haytham kind of knew about this. Maybe with Skara's aid, maybe through his own investigation. But yeah. Because of Sachin's lofty ideals, he fell into nihilism in that nothing has meaning. And so life has no meaning. But Al-Haytham's counterpoint, as he wrote in the note, is that every single thing, the most mundane things, little decisions, as he put it, is what actually makes a difference and makes a life and gives meaning to our lives. So I'm kind of explaining ahead, and I may be wrong, or maybe I'm right, and I'm kind of like sorry. Okay.
But before I went through with it, a strange twist of fate led me to come into the possession of this diadem, which has the ability to preserve part of one's consciousness. Into it, I placed my experiences before requesting that the Akademiya manage my estate.
So this in tropes, as tropes, this would be called a soul jar. But he says he's a fragment of Sachin's consciousness. Does it work like the Irminsul backup thing that Nahida can do in terms of memories, when memories are altered by the Irminsul? Or maybe like a knowledge capsule, but instead of knowledge, well, depends on how you understand knowledge. Maybe knowledge, consciousness. It's not exactly knowledge. Consciousness is more like mind, that is memory and feelings. Kind of, sort of. That's a bit abstract. Let's keep going.
As I thought. The contract you signed with the Akademiya was in essence your will.
Yeah. Sorry, I said testament. That was kind of my bad. Will. Yeah, that's yeah.
But if you'd given up hope on this world, why did you feel the need to do this?
I mentioned that I have performed a great many experiments concerning human nature. You may regard this as the very last experiment of them all.
I should have paused in the line before because if you've given hope in this world, I can hate on questions Sachin. This is why I'm happy to have done Nahida's second story quest before this event, because Nahida to get a pep for to reason and let her help it. She asks the question of if Apep has given up hope entirely, and that's what makes Apep like let us lend a hand. And Haytham is basically using the same argument, like if you believe that there's no hope in everything, then why do you still left this kind of failsafe? And Sachin says like this is like a final trial concerning human nature. Yeah, but it's kind of amusing, like the parallel between Nahida and the question that Nahida poses to Apep in a greater scope, I guess, and in a lesser scope that Alhitam asks Sachin. It's basically the same vibe. Okay.
The Akademiya has no shortage of genius talents, nurturing the brightest minds of every generation. And so, with a handsome reward to draw out the worthiest of individuals, my hope was that one day I would find one who could untangle the mystery of human nature once and for all, and help to move the world onto a better path.
Huh. I mean, I can see why Kabe is a good choice for this. I mean, he is what would embody this concept. The problem is that the poor guy really doesn't have just doesn't. It's complicated because rationality is not something that Kabe has much of that. His actions are driven by emotion and compassion and empathy. And that's usually what puts him in so many difficult situations. But he's got something that not many others in his situation have. First, he has the capability of keep going even despite the hardships, and stand up and keep trying no matter how many tries he fails. Even though, as you know, as humans, we kind of sometimes hit like our lowest. But in such cases, Kabe has the empathy and the charm to go with it. One of his assets is that he can rely on other people to lend him a hand, like his friends. In his story, basically the arc, Alhitham offering at his lowest to roommate and help him, basically being his therapist and counselor, is one of them. Like helping him to stand up on his own again. And throughout this event, got Farzan, Nilu, Layla, all supporting Kabe when he fails because of this lack of rationality, if you want to call it, or overly empathetic side of him. So he has that in his favor. So yeah, he may not be lucky. But he does have the support of others. But I guess that he fails to see that. I mean, he fails to see that with Latham, who is actively supporting him, even though, well, Latham is not precisely the best the best guy trying to when he's making evident that he's helping someone. I guess that's also part of his character, since he operates on individualism. But I'm kind of rambling again. Sorry.
I see. So you desired a successor who was not only a genius, but who also understood the suffering of ordinary people. Such a person would have a clearer understanding of humanity, society, and the world.
Yeah. That would be it.
Huh?
You do understand that, Kabe.
But did you ever consider that wealth numbs the human heart to the pain in the world? Even an idealist may be incapable of following through on your wishes after inheriting your wealth.
I have to say I kind of had the same thought, like the point Al-Haytham is bringing here. Like, yeah, you're using that as to draw a genius, but materiality, when it comes to, you're using a material thing to lure out an idealist. How many idealists are going to actually remain true to their ideals when they no longer have to struggle for their ideals? It's kind of a difficult question, but Al-Haytham understands that. It's kind of interesting coming from him, because he's not, as he puts it, he's well off, but he's not the richest person in the world, and he's actually fairly stoic. He's actually quite stoic in his expense and his finances. He's not like he never goes overboard. He doesn't really pay that much attention to material. He pays due attention because it's part of a comfy life, for the good life he pursues. Of course, it's a given, but it's not something that you could tempt Al-Haytham with the promise of more wealth, more material things. That's not what he's interested at all in, and he just knows how to handle his possessions in a way that he always has, but he never has. Then he doesn't have needs, basically, but he's not someone who seeks power or seeks wealth. He's a very, very stoic person. You should actually, if you're interested in the philosophy of Stoicism, you should look it up. It's like, I think it was one of the branches of that, one of the philosophies, the branches of Aristotle. And again, last night I made a tweet on how Kaveh basically embodies Platonic thought, and Al-Haytham embodies not just Aristotelian thought, but kind of Aristotle himself. So yeah.
You are highly intelligent, yet you are not the sort of person who would understand my line of thinking. To me, this is also part of the experiment. Part of my investigation into human nature.
Al-Haytham wouldn't care about being your successor mate. That's not.
Whether my successor suffers as a consequence of my research, or succumbs to an indulgence in pleasure-seeking, my research will have progressed. I grieve the fundamental sickness of the world. I regret the unbearable weight of its history. And I lament the research that I failed to complete.
Uh-huh.
And this, Kaveh, my dear child, is why you will be of great utility to me.
You're absolutely certain that you want to give me everything you owned? For me to do with as I please?
I have faith in what I see in you. Now wear the diadem, Kaveh, and complete the journey that I could not.
I'm not that sure that's going to work well. I don't think that Kaveh, for all of his troubles and tribulations, I really doubt to believe that he doesn't see hope in the world. I have some other thoughts here, but I don't think he's going to go through it. Oh.
Will the verdict I reached cause you suffering? Or will this newfound wealth numb your heart? I look forward to your answer. All of my research materials are being stored at our...
I've heard enough! My life's enough of a mess already. The last thing I need is more suffering. Keep your Mora. I don't need it. Didn't you say that you saw a lot of people in pain? Well, if that's the case, then your wealth can go to them.
Nah, I kind of assume.
I guess that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, I imagine that would be the answer. A plus for you, Kaveh. You really... I mean, I already respected you, but you earn more my respect. Even though I'm a pragmatic, but you are true to your ideals. Respect.
Kaveh.
Are you all right? Any physical discomfort?
I narrate this. Okay, I don't think it's any physical discomfort.
I'm fine. Thanks, Tainari. Don't worry about me.
Don't push yourself too hard.
Kaveh.
Kaveh may have broken the diadem, but he successfully completed the task prior to that. According to the rules, this makes him the victor of round 3. Points-wise, this also makes him the winner of the Inter-Darshan Championship. As the champion and Sachin's personally designated successor, Kaveh has obtained the rights to inherit the entirety of his estate.
So basically he can do whatever he wants with it. Doesn't he?
For the avoidance of doubt, can you confirm that it is your intention to donate all of Sachin's wealth?
Like I said, he thought that the world is a bad place. Well then, let's use what he left behind to change it for the better. Rejecting the world will achieve nothing. He and I, we're not the same.
Exactly. Because Kaveh believes that something can be done. And I believe that's what Ethan meant with little decisions. It all amounts to maybe our ideals are the same, but it's basically the little decisions that actually make the difference. Like I said, I believe this has too many layers, but as in this context, that's what it means.
All right. As the scribe, I will make a record of this incident on file. The sages will contact you in person for details on how exactly Sachin's estate is to be used.
That sounds fine. I don't know if his research findings were right,
nor would I know how to finish his research for him. But what I do know is that by ending this here, no contestants will have to suffer. We won't be the last. There will be more championships to come, and countless future scholars will follow in our footsteps.
That's hope right there.
Sachin's words can only cause pain, but not anymore. No one else has to hear them now.
Basically, silencing the voice of despair. Yeah. I love that. I'm really enjoying the metaphors here.
We're all scholars here. I know full well that shutting down his views like this is autocratic and arrogant. Fine by me. I'll bear that responsibility.
True, but one thing is shutting down his cabinet. You're kind of making a whole big deal of this. You're not exactly shutting down his views. Other people will likely have or reach the same conclusion, and it would be valid. But one thing is having your opinion, which is regardless of what you think or how harmful you think it is, it has the right to exist, and it will keep existing. But what Sachin was doing here was actually harming the contestants. So it's less than shutting down his views and taking care of an actual threat. So don't kick yourself for that. There's a difference there between shutting an opinion or a discordant voice, which would be reprobable, but anyways, and actually taking care of an active threat. Of course, this is kind of go into many moral debates, but let's leave it at that.
It's the least I can do. And, well, it's the only thing I can do.
And it's not like a small deal.
Well said. What you've expressed is a sense of justice and idealism that many aspire to, but few dare follow through with.
Exactly.
I say this despite the fact that, in my view, it's quite ridiculous. You have long been aware of what your flaws are, but your pride alone prevents you from admitting it.
Cavis looks like, fuck off, mate. But here's the difference. Like, Al-Haytham can really, because Al-Haytham can separate between his personal opinion or his personal, let's say, between quotes, biases, and what he sees as the objective truth. He can respect and he can respect Kaveh as a scholar in his own field and in his own beliefs, even if they don't match his. But he can respect someone who sticks to his principles, because it's something like Al-Haytham places a lot of. If you check his voice lines and his character's story, even in the Archon Quest, it's like you need to stick to a set of morals that they don't have to be anyone else's. They have to be yours, and stick to them, and they will set you the path to follow in life. And even if he doesn't agree with them or he considers them flawed, that's not his business, because the same way Al-Haytham doesn't like other people intruding in his business. He respects others' own business as well and won't intrude in them. He's a loner because his character is of I don't want to say loneliness, because he doesn't feel alone per se. He likes and he seeks this loneliness, this solitude. Solitude is the proper word. he seeks solitude and quiet because, as he said in his story quest, he wants to distance himself from the world and look at everything objectively. So, so there's a difference. I really, of course, there's the contraposition with Kabe, with his bad luck, his idealism, his tribulations, that he suffers, his suffering, that, and the fact that because of this, without suffering, there can be no one that will lend you a hand in your moment of need. They truly are like the two completely opposite sides of the spectrum, and it's something that's always going to be a rift, but at the same time something that's always going to bound them by respect of the other side. I really love this sort of. It's like a rivalry, but at the same time, it's a complicated. There's a sense of rivalry, friendship, respect. It's a very complicated friendship. Like, you can't really have these personality-wise in the same room together. But academically speaking, of course they will disagree on everything. But like, when you put together their talents to work, academically speaking, and in the search of knowledge, you may reach a middle ground, but by themselves they will never reach this middle ground. It would need a third party, like I was saying, to reach this middle ground. And I think that's why Nahida, Al-Haytham, and Kabe have in their dendro powers have the element of technology. That is something that they all share, because Nahida, the way I see her, she's the god of wisdom, but Nahida may well be the middle point between the two spectrums of knowledge and wisdom, which embody Al-Haytham and Kabe. So yeah, that's the way. That's one way to see it. Sorry, I apologize, I rumble again. So yeah.
Nevertheless, your perspective is well suited to appearing in a victory speech. Contestant Kave, on behalf of the organizing committee, it is my honor to congratulate you on your victory.
Yes! Good for you, Kabe.
What? Please. I don't need your insincere praise.
No! This is a problem. It's the problem, because Al-Haytham says something that is not ill-intentioned. He says the thing as professional as he always is business-like, and Kav is like, "You're just being professional. You just don't mean it. You bastard!" And that's where everything's going to start spiraling down. Watch it happen.
Anyway, this isn't the time or place for debates.
Fine.
The commentary
okay.
focused on the competition, not my views.
I don't think I'll even was trying to debate, but you do you, Kabe.
Congratulations, Kave. Also, you'll need to prepare for the award ceremony. Looks like the ceremony will be held at the main venue. Let's head over and check it out.
Okay, the Arc of Intellect. Huh. So I rumbled a lot in this, but there was a lot to unpack there. And I'm really enjoying this event. It's really so interesting. Because because this whole thing about the differences of schools of thought and that sort of dynamic, I really wanted to be explored properly. Because I think one of the main problems with people understanding Al-Haytham and Kabe's characters and dynamic is that people jumped into, let's say, certain interpretations. Both when, I think I mentioned this last stream, they jumped into certain conclusions, delusions, fantasies, whatever you want to call it, interpretations, I guess. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. When neither of them, we already knew a bit of Alhaitham because of the Archon quest, but we didn't have the picture of how he thinks, because that usually comes with the character stories. And he's a really private guy, that he really doesn't like to talk about himself. And as for Kaveh, we only knew that he was Alhaitham's roommate, and that they are polar opposites, and he is a very temperamental guy, very emotional. But we didn't have any idea of his inner tribulations and how this thing came to be until we got the leaks of his character stories and basically learned that Alhaitham offered to lend him a hand, in his darkest moment, as to try to help him stand on his own and live his own life. That's basically what he's trying to do. And that's why I also commented, for those who said that Alhaitham was trying to stand on Kaveh's way for leaving the house, for whatever reason, one side saying that because of shipping lenses, the other side because of they think Alhaitham is a jerk. And I was like, get folded, because Alhaitham's not trying to do that at all. What he wants is Kaveh to stand on his own and in a sense, not cause any more troubles for everyone else, including himself and including Alhaitham and Alhaitham as well. Because if you can't stand on his own, I'm probably going to be bothered again with having to, get you out of the ditch, and I'm not looking forward to that. That's basically I can really well imagine that's the reasoning, even though and the fact that he bothers in the first place, I mean, is that any surprise? Of course, people say that Alhaitham is like a heartless jerk, but he does consider the gang his friends, and Kaveh, of course, is a former friend, but I think that's something that he really doesn't care. He did mention in the Archon quest that he doesn't keep tracks of favors, and I assume that by the same token he doesn't keep track of wrongs. Like, for what? If you ask someone as rational as Alhaitham, like, why keep track of these things? Like, a right done to me doesn't mean that in the future you won't wrong me, and a wrong made to me doesn't mean that in the future you can't do me a favor. And that's actually pure logic. That's just really. Of course, there's of course, Anyway,
Thank you all for your excellent performance. And that brings this year's Interdarshan Championship to a close.
Okay. Clap, 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 clap.
Finally, it gives me great pleasure to invite our champion, Kaveh, to the stage to receive his award.
Clap, clap, clap.
Typically at this point, we would crown our champion with the diadem as well as presenting them with their award. However, we have just received word that Kaveh has inherited Sachin's estate and made the decision to donate it all to charitable causes.
Sachin's estate is getting donated?
So much, Mora.
And he gave it all up?
Yeah.
Kave's generosity will give many struggling families the chance to change their lives for the better. Of course, without the diadem and prize money to present, this makes the award ceremony a little more concise than expected. Would you like to say a few words, Kave? I'm sure many of our audience, like myself, are curious to learn why you decided to give all this wealth away.
Go off, King.
I'm not entirely sure what I should say under these circumstances. I'm glad to have won, even though I'd say luck played a big part in that. As for why I want to give the Mora away, I don't support Sachin's views, and I don't want to take his Mora. With a lot of things in life, people need to experience them for themselves. It shouldn't be up to one person to make a judgment on. Not him, and not me either.
Fair.
Anyway, this isn't really the time and place for such weighty and complicated topics. So, I guess that's all. I'll leave it there. Thanks very much.
Oh, Kave, just one moment. While this is a short and sweet award ceremony, we do still have a prize to present you with. Please take this limited edition TC.
I know.
Additionally, your champion status will be logged in your record. This means that the sages will give priority
that's
consideration
great.
to any future project proposals you submit.
That's great. Don't misuse the Mora, Kave.
All right, I'll take the card. But as for project proposals, forget it.
Oh, really?
In that case, I declare the award ceremony over. Let's give our champion Kave one last big round of applause.
Clap, 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 clap.
I still don't really get it. The sum of Mora would have been enough for me to live in luxury for my entire life.
That just means you're not strange enough to understand the way that geniuses think. Come on, we've still got the whole Wisdom Gala to explore.
Glad that's over. I think I'm quite good at giving speeches, but this one was just so tiring.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the right mood to make a speech, right? I understand.
Do you mean that you're still exhausted from the competition? Honestly, you don't look happy at all, but whatever else happened, you're the champion, you know? Don't you think you should be proud of that?
I suppose. Oh, wait. Sino said he wanted the card, didn't he? And now I have it, right here.
Are you going to just forfeit the card as well, Kave? I can absolutely see him doing that. Yeah, you're too kind for this cruel world, mate.
So you're gonna give it to him? But if it's a rare one, you should be able to make a tidy sum of more off it.
Why would I do that? It's of no use to me whatsoever. I may as well just give it to him. Could you pass it on to him for me when you next see him?
Whoa! This is a super big deal. You should do it yourself. Come on, let's go find Sino.
Well, Sino's going to just drop on his knees and ask Kave to marry him.
Huh? But I was gonna rest for a while longer. Hey, stop pulling my hair!
Paimon, for fuck's sake. No thoughts? Sad.
What you looking at, Sino?
I'm still thinking about the Sachin issue. What brings you here?
Well, they gave me this limited edition Genius Invocation card, and I figured you'd have more use for it than I.
But it's a limited edition. Are you sure you want to give it to me?
Yes.
What else would I do with it? I have no use for it.
Like I said, marry me, Kave.
But it's limited edition. Kave, are you in trouble? You don't have to do all this. Just tell me what's wrong and I will help.
Oh, that's not what I meant at all. Yes, I have all sorts of problems, but that has absolutely nothing to do with this card. I'll figure my own issues out by myself.
It's a goddamn card! But Sino doesn't... yeah.
All right. In that case, I accept your generosity. But now that I realize that you have no concept of its value, I cannot simply take it from you. How about this? I shall buy it from you at a fair price. Namely, the price that the previous limited edition card sold for.
That's fair. Cabe, how about you accept that?
Oh, come on. It's just one card. How much could it really be worth?
1 million more at the very least.
How much?
1 million more?
If you feel that's too low, I can go a little higher.
1 million mora for a card? But you already have a whole bunch of these, shiny ones, don't you? I saw your deck last time we played.
Not every card is this valuable, and some cards are exquisitely designed, but not rare.
Huh. Well, I guess they must pay you plenty to be General Mahamatra if you're splashing out on things like this. But really, it's fine. I'd feel bad taking Mora from a friend.
Cabe!
Don't feel bad. I save a lot. I can spare the Mora for this card.
You don't spend all your savings on your hobbies, do you? You should watch that, you know. You definitely don't want to end up borrowing money in a moment of impulsivity. Living with debt is miserable.
Are you calling out every single one of us, Cabe? Because I guarantee you that many people are going to spend all their savings on getting you and buy you tomorrow. So, yeah. There's that.
Sounds like you're speaking from personal experience. I guess you've been through a lot?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
In that case, maybe you're the one who should be listening to your advice. In any case, I, Sino, will take this precious card, and it shall join the deck of destiny. Kave, come with me in a few moments to collect the Mora. Thanks to you, I have achieved my goal for participating in this tournament.
Oh god. Please. Sino, you're great. We love you. You're amazing.
All right, if you insist. Far be it from me to refuse your courtesy any further. Well, at least I'll be able to keep on top of my bills this month. Maybe I'll even have some left over. In fact, let me treat you all to a meal later. Bring Tainari and Kale, too.
Cool.
Well, this is what they call all's well that ends well. Paimon wonders how the other contestants are doing. Let's go check in with them, shall we? Since we're guest commentators and all.
I mean... Okay. Where's everyone? Where's Cabe and Sino? I want to check if Sino is actually proposing marriage to Cabe for the card. I'm just joking. I'm only joking. I love the Sumeru bros. They're so wholesome. I guess this is the Grand Bazaar? Maybe there's... Oh, the girls!
I'm telling you, you can't go wrong taking advice from me on what to wear. Back in the day, my fashion style was considered cutting edge by everyone in the Akademiya.
Back in the day was 100 years ago, Farzan.
Really? Well then, sure, Madam Farzan. Maybe you could pick out a few fashionable outfits for us.
Farazan! Nilu! Even Dia and Candace are here! What are you all up to?
Candace and I bumped into these two while we were strolling through the streets. Madam Farazan here's pretty friendly. When she heard that we were buying clothes, she decided to give us some help.
I don't really see anything I'm familiar with. Never mind. We can purchase some textiles and make the clothes ourselves. Let's go with the plain fabric as our base. And embroider red and pink flowers on. Oh, and some green leaves.
Mm-hmm. Red and pink flowers on?
Oh, wait a sec. You sure that's the latest style? That sounds a lot like what the older folks back home would wear.
Don't worry. This style is a timeless classic.
No thanks. This is actually sounding pretty weird.
Wait. Madame Farzan's right. That style is a classic, and used to be mainstream fashion. But these days, there's some other options too. If you don't mind, how about I pick some clothes out for everyone?
You're so sweet, Nilu.
It's not often that we get to meet up, especially since Candace rarely makes it to Sumeru City. Also, I know a few places where I can get a great bargain.
Sure. I'm happy to leave it to you.
I'll come with you to have a look. One always has to keep on top of what the youth of today are into.
How are you doing, my fellow youngsters? The thing is that Farzan actually, I mean, she's chronologically like 100 years old, over 100 years old, but physically she's, I mean, I don't really know how the trapping of the ruins affected her, but she's, I guess, in her 20s, more or less. So yeah, I mean, and her life experience only amounts, I mean, I think, that's a discussion for another time. Life experience doesn't, it's not, can't be measured like she's older, as in older, she's only older by a matter of years lived, but not by life experiences, in terms that she spent 100 of those years trapped in a room, basically. And that's not really, like, something that would give you life experience as an elder, but that's what happens when you start messing up with age and experience. And anyways, I don't really want to start going on another ramble about Farzan.
Madame Farzan? Come quick, she's over here.
Who are you?
Oh.
We're new in the Akademiya. We saw all the amazing things you did during the competition. Do you have any classes we could sign up for?
They're Kisharawar, though. She's Harabatat. That's going to. I'm not sure she's going to go through this.
Of course I do. And you're both very welcome to join.
Oh, well, of course. The students can take different classes, though, from different darshans.
That's great! We can't wait. What's your area of research? Precision mechanics?
I'm from Haravatat.
Yeah, I guessed.
Huh? But you seem like an expert in machines. Wait, sorry. I remember now. You were representing the Haravatat Darshan in the championship. Oh, their classes are so boring, though. Sorry, ma'am. Let me know if you run any other classes in the future. I'll be there.
I can't deal with the Haravatat slander in game. Like, it's like everyone's like, Haravatat is the most boring darshan in the Akademiya, and then there was me devouring the damn booth with the riddles, and I was like, yeah, I definitely not screw you, like like I'm
I knew it. What about you? Aren't you going to leave with your friend?
I think you're amazing, Madame Farzan, and I'd like to learn from you for a while, if possible.
Respect.
I can take the class you're teaching as an option, even though cross-darshan lessons might be a little tough to arrange. But I look forward to learning from you.
I see. You're a good egg, child. Don't worry. Study under me, and I promise you, you will get the best teaching available.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, I won't disturb you any further. See you in class.
I don't quite understand what happened there, but congratulations, I think.
Traveler, Paimon, would you two like to come and pick out some clothes?
Sorry, we can't. We've got a meal with Kaveh later, and we have to check in with all the other contestants before then. Oh, by the way, have any of you seen Hat Guy or Layla?
I don't know where Hat Guy went. We just saw Layla not too long ago, though. But she was hanging out with some other Ratahoa students, so we didn't get a chance to speak with her. Are you gonna go and see what she's up to?
Ratahoa students? They must be the ones who voted for her to enter the competition, right? Oh, she didn't end up winning, so Paimon wonders how they feel about that. Let's go take a peek.
But yeah, she didn't end up winning, but she did a fairly good job considering things, you know? Since everyone else just like graduates and she was the only student. Anyways.
If you don't come to Sumeru City often, classic floral designs aren't a bad choice. Those don't really go out of style. And of course, since you're putting this on your body, you need to consider the type of fabric the clothes are made from. Some materials might look stunning, but they can be terribly uncomfortable to wear.
I can understand this from a dancer's point of view. Yeah.
Agreed. After all, is fashion not the constant phasing in and out of classics? In that sense, you could always consider the style I suggested too.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Wait, sorry, ma'am, but I think it could be quite a while before the style you recommended comes back into fashion.
That's also true.
I actually think the style recommended by Madame Faruzan is quite beautiful.
Isn't it just? You have a discerning eye, my dear.
Pun intended, because she has different color eyes. Anyway.
Everyone hold hands.
Leah and Candace are both pretty tall. That means they have a lot of options when it comes to clothes.
Huh.
The classics are the best. Period.
I love Faruzan. I mean, I always was interested in Faruzan, but never I reached one of the endings of her hangout, and I like that. She's from Parava, that's also so bonus points for that. But but this event made me like Faruzan. I really appreciate Faruzan, and I'm sad that I'm going to get her only at C0. So yeah.
I think I might need some more practice if I wanted to embroider my own complex designs. Although, I'm no beginner with a needle and thread. More like upper end of intermediate?
I would like to see something designed by Dia. She's good with makeup, though. I'm not into makeup or fashion, or my knowledge of...
These clothes all seem a bit too flimsy. Is there anything sturdier?
I sometimes I have to basically learn of fashion styles and stuff, because I'm a concept artist and I have to, when designing characters you have to know these things, but myself I barely pay attention to what I wear, and really. Oh, Layla.
I'm sorry, everyone. I could have done better in the third
No,
round.
Layla, you did well.
Oh, stop it. If you're going to beat yourself up after doing as well as you did, how bad does that make us look, huh? Heck, it's not like any of us had the guts to enter the championship.
I didn't see the whole thing, but you were the only contestant who scored points in both the first 2 rounds, right? And I heard that you actually found the diadem first in round 3. You came so close to winning the competition.
I just got lucky, I think.
No.
That can't be true. You had some really stiff competition out there. The renowned Tainari from Amorta, even Sino the General Mahamatra was there. You're amazing, all of you. Getting points off them is a huge achievement. The way I see it, people aren't exaggerating one bit with the nicknames they give you. You are a genuine genius.
Aw, thanks a lot.
but I really don't think I qualify as a genius. In the second round, for instance, I dozed off and somehow found myself beside the device when I came to.
Ah, come on, don't be so hard on yourself. We've decided we're taking you out to celebrate, and that's final. Let's go. Cheer up, Layla. The rest of today's all about you.
Looks like things are going well for Layla. This is great. We haven't seen Hat Guy since the end of the competition. Oh well, it's almost mealtime. We'd better go meet up with Kaveh and Sino.
Fair. I'm interested in what Skara has to say about all of this. Probably sassy things, but yeah.
Everyone hold his?
What a relief.
Pat.
I can't believe it. But in the end, no one was disappointed in me. What a relief. Finally. I can get some good sleep.
Mood.
I see everything.
No thoughts? Okay. Okay, so... yeah! Lombat's Tavern! Celebration! Okay, let's see. Oh. Yeah, I'm stupid. Yeah. Upper floor. Oh, here we go.
Are you sure you have enough to cover this? Don't blow it all at once.
Thank you, game, for reminding me that I'm skipping lunch for streaming the event. Damn it.
Don't worry, I budgeted very carefully, and this is well within my means. Anyway, I've lost count of how many times you've treated me. It's high time I return the favor.
You budgeted really carefully, yeah. Press X to doubt, but fine.
Oh, Traveler, Paimon!
Hey!
Over here.
Ooh, look at all this. Good food, here we come.
I heard that you went to see the other contestants. How's everyone doing?
Farzan found herself a student, and Layla's classmates are bowled over by how well she did. We couldn't find Hat Guy, though. Who knows where he's gone?
Al-Haytham's gone missing in action, too. The one time I'm actually in a good enough mood to treat him to a nice meal, he disappears without a trace. That guy. Where the heck could he have gone? I still have questions about that note he left.
Me too, so you're not alone there.
Well, whatever. He can do what he wants. Now, let's
Fair.
eat.
You shocked me a little when you hurled the diadem to the ground. On further reflection, of course, it made sense, but at the time I was expecting at least some amount of deliberation.
Sachin's voice started talking to me inside my head from the moment I picked it up. I could feel his emotions, too. It was a mix of despair and horror swirling around inside my mind.
Sounds awful.
He bombarded me with his ideas relentlessly, like he was trying to brainwash me. It gave me a splitting headache that only got worse as he went on. Like I was saying at the time, his views are not necessarily completely without value. But if all his research does is lead to misfortune, then we're probably better off without it.
That reminds me, I mean, it's not the same, but I'm kind of inclined to believe, by Kaveh's account, it's like more subdued because it's just one person coming to realize nihilism, you know? But this reminds me of the symptoms of forbidden knowledge. And of course, this didn't really drive Kaveh insane, also because he had the resistance to fight back with hope, I guess. But that's why that's why Al-Haytham's note becomes more relevant here in terms of lore. and that's why I was suspecting the other day when I was like blown away by the implications. So yeah.
If his forbidden research were to spread in a harmful form and cause people to suffer, the Matra would step in and ban it.
Thank you, Sino, for using forbidden research as I was musing about forbidden knowledge.
I think you did the right thing. I suppose another way to approach it would have been to claim that you agreed to inherit his research, but give up the research as soon as you've inherited the wealth. But that wouldn't have been your style.
That's another way of doing that, yeah.
I won't comment on his theories or experiments, but I don't believe that he was careless in his choice of candidate. He chose you. That means he knew what he was doing.
Perhaps. I just think that if you accept someone else's things, you should honor their wishes.
True. He's not wrong. That's basically... So, how should I put this? This is why when I'm working on someone else's work, as in, I don't really write much fanfiction, but sometimes I do, and they don't tend to... My fanfiction tends to be character studies or stuff, and I don't really like calling them fanfiction because the association with the word tends to be, you know, what it is. But my work is more like it's a different sort of. I mean, in the end, it's fanfiction, but it's come to be associated with, you know. And my first, I mean, there's this thing about alternate universes and stuff and interpretations. Make your own thing, and it's fine if you want to go that route. But my personal code, so to speak, is that if you're working on someone else's work, and this kind of applies to, you know, many of these sort of reimaginations of previous works of that have been going on series and cinema and the like, and most people don't like them because they're not faithful to the original material, which is and this is a controversial matter, but for me, the most if you're working on someone else's work, not following that work's spirit, which is something that is admittedly difficult to gauge, it's disrespectful to the artist. Like, for example, if I myself were to create a series, and then, of course, most of these artists are dead, so they can't complain, or they can't give directions, or maybe there will be things if they there are things, I guess, that if you were to ask me, we're going to make an adaptation of your work, and they had the chance to ask me, and I would be very careful, very very clear with, okay, give me your suggestions, and if they suggested me this or that, there will be some things in which I was like, yeah, change this, it's not that relevant to the story. But there will be the other things in which I was like, no, I can make concessions on this because this is important. And yeah, and I went on another ramble here. Apologies, I tend to do that a lot.
That's a good thing. It means that you have integrity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that other people don't have integrity but for not thinking the same way I do, but yeah, it's just a matter of principles in the end.
Thank you, oh my god, thank you. See, you get me, Kale.
I love the delivery on the line. I swear the cast of Genshin Impact has only been getting better and better. Everyone's great, but I think Sumeru reached great heights. Very, very great heights. And all the Sumeru gang has great voice actors. And hey, there's the fact that there's a little bit of pride in the fact that Ben Balmaceda, I guess Balmaceda would be in Spanish, is I think he's Chilean. I mean, I'm from Spain, so but it's the same. Like we pretty much share the Hispanic pride anyway. So so there's that. Even though we're like an ocean apart from the from Latin America. It's like I know that's outside the Hispanic sphere is kind of difficult to grasp the concept, and there's a bit of controversy, I guess, within some circles, but there are very minor circles, more as very few people who actually, compared to the vast majority, both in Spain and Hispanic countries, that we share this sort of fraternity, so to speak. Yeah, I think something really beautiful, like. But yeah, one day I may speak of history of our countries, since we were once one country under the same flag, I guess. Of course, this later changed, but didn't change the spirit. It's a interesting, very interesting story. That's I don't think it's really known outside our sphere, but yeah, I don't really want to go into that again. I'm sorry, and it's just I really it's like that sense of yes, we're getting some. I don't really want to say representation, because that has a connotation nowadays, and I don't necessarily agree with in the sense mainstream media understands it, but it would be a correct word to use, as in, yeah, there's a bit of our culture, even though every country, even within Spain itself, we have many different cultures, the cultures depending on the region. So it's no big deal, I guess. We kind of understand that part of the culture, I guess. It's kind of difficult. I understand that it's a concept that outside of our sphere is a bit difficult to understand. But yeah, maybe one day I will speak on that if you're interested. Anyways, let's move on. Moving on.
It's a good thing Alhaitham isn't here right now. He'd be quick to explain why you're wrong.
Seems like you always include him in the conversation, even when he isn't here.
Despite.
Yep, no dinner with Kaveh is complete without a few words about Alhaitham.
The rant. I mean, like, you know that. I mean, so I've been guilty of this many times when I was roommating, and I had some of them more infuriating than others, and likely Since my life is not really eventful, so to speak, on the outside, on the social thing, I guess my parents had to bear with me ranting about daily shenanigans, so can relate.
I sense that all Hatham has in fact been here with us all along.
Maybe, possibly. Maybe he's hiding and he's just waiting for the jump scare. Maybe.
He's here? Wait, why didn't you tell me?
He lives rent-free in each of our hearts.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I mean, he does live rent-free in my brain as of now, so you're actually correct, Sino. Also, rent-free, was that just another pun directed? If that was a pun directed at Kabe, mate, that was savage, considering Kabe's rent drama with Hatham as his landlord, basically.
Oh, that was horrifying. It literally sent chills down my spine.
Like, can you imagine you're minding your own business and then you suddenly feel a chill down your spine, you turn around and there's Al-Haytham's stare. Al-Haytham's judging stare, right, going through you, and you're like, I feel stupid for some reason and I don't even know what I did wrong.
Good thing you didn't say that before we started eating. That would have killed the mood in a heartbeat.
Paimon has priorities. Respect.
Alright, enough about Al-Haytham. Tighnari, did you achieve what you wanted out of the championship?
I did, in the first round, in fact. Word of mouth proved very effective. I spoke to a handful of people, they told their friends, and so on. Now, a record number of people have signed up to attend the next lecture.
Cool.
Oh, are you free next month? You should come along. Maybe even say a few words.
Oh. Interesting. So, I've heard rumors about Kappa's hangout coming in 3.7. It would be cool if it had something to do with Tighnari's project here. That would be cool. The lecture. Interesting. Also, I'm saying that I don't know how it's going to end, the thing with Kabe moving out. I am assuming that he's not going to move out for the time being. Eventually he will, because that's the point, I guess. You don't roommate for life. And what Al-Haytham wants is for him to stand in his own, basically. Do your own life, all that stuff, you know? So, I assume that's not going to happen here, but maybe they lay the foundations for, this is something that's happening in the future. But so I am assuming this is not going to happen in this event. But if it doesn't happen, of course the game will keep referring them as roommating for the time being. I will consider the top 5 missed chance in history if Kabe's hangout doesn't start with the Traveler finding Kabe being locked out of the house for the umpteenth time and cursing on Haytham's guts like endlessly. Anyway.
About what? I don't know the first thing about anything Amorta related.
Just play to your strengths. For instance, you could talk about the distinguishing features of rainforest architecture, or ask everyone not to chop down too many trees the next time they're building a house.
That's fair. Or, knowing your story, your experience about not building anything on a withering zone. I swear that line killed me.
Oh, well, that's no problem. Sure, I'll make time. Has everyone had enough to eat? I can order more if anyone's still hungry.
Don't go over budget, Kabe.
I'm full. Thanks. Paimon's super full, too. If only we could eat like this every day.
Yeah, we should do this more often. Work will always be there, but seeing friends is important too. This is a good restaurant. Let's definitely come here again.
Sounds good. We should pick a few other places as backup options, though.
There are other good places around here, too? Oh, and don't forget to invite us if you go. There's nothing we love more than good food.
Excellent.
Kaveh, do you have plans after this?
I was thinking of maybe going to the Akademiya for some alone time. Nothing set in stone, though. Why do you ask?
Okay.
Since everyone is free, why don't we play a few matches of Genius Invocation TCG?
Eager to show off your new limited edition card, are you?
Not to show off. This is my way of thanking you for your help. Only my best friend will have the honor of seeing this card's debut play.
All right, sure. I didn't bring my deck with me, though, so I'll need to borrow one.
Actually, Master, I made a new one a few days back.
Don't tell me you've been spending all your study hours playing cards.
F.
Come on, no need to be so stern. They do say that your innate interests are your best teacher, don't they?
I love the Sumeru gang. Let's see.
I wonder when Kaveh will be able to pay off his debts.
Aww.
I wish him the best of luck.
Oh, Nari, you're too sweet.
It's been so nice not having to study these last few days. I hope I don't fall behind. Wait. Uh-oh. I've completely forgotten where I was up to.
With this limited edition card in my deck, I have reached peak connection with my cards.
Sigh, no, please.
It's my most worthwhile purchase in quite some time.
Sigh is so dramatic. You can't. I mean, I really need to save up for his next rerun. I want the 4 Sumeru boys in my collection.
This was some pretty successful ordering today. Not a dish wasted. Oh, I almost forgot. I should order a couple of extra things to take back home.
Ha. Yeah, that's that. So I assume that I assume. I was saying. Yeah, that's something that actually it takes me back to my university days when I shared when I roommated with people. They were actually classmates. Well, that was one of my classmates. We roommated for like 2 years, and we had a fairly because we kind of saw each other each day at the university, and and then at home, and we usually made our own kind of lived different in different like our own way, like didn't really interact that much when at home, but there was always the thing about if you run into each other at the kitchen and stuff, stopping for a chat or asking how's things going, even though we may know from class even. But there was there was one of these things that basically the habit of asking the other, hey, I'm going down to the grocery shop, do you need something, or I'm going out, do you need anything? So yeah, that's one of the cool things, that when you have a roommate that you don't necessarily need to be really close to, but you have this kind of sense of trust or courtesy, like as to, yeah, if you need something I can get it for you, and that reminded me of Kaveh slightly, very likely ordering things for like taking home later, likely for dinner or something, like something that I usually do for Because I was musing the other day, like Haytham's house don't really have a kitchen that we can see. So maybe these two thrive on what they order around, and they're like, okay, I'm going to take this for leftovers. Maybe for me, maybe for the other. I don't know. It's like the habit of taking leftovers, like a very college thing. It's so college-like. I think it was really adorable. It's like it's actually realistic.
It looks like this Inter-Darshan Championship's a wrap. All that stuff with Sachin and the diadem got sorted too. Have you still got anything else on your mind?
Sachin's research.
Oh, right. Yeah, Sachin said that he placed his research materials at somewhere beginning with but Kaveh smashed the diadem of knowledge before he could finish.
Huh.
It might be dangerous if someone finds his old research stash, right? Where do you think it could be?
Our village could be, yeah.
Holy smoke! He said he spent all that time researching in the desert, didn't he? So it's very possible that that's where he'd leave all his notes. Alright then, let's head off to our village and try our luck!
Holy smokes. That's one I use myself. Quite a fair bit. Combined in many different ways, I guess. Okay, I'm curious. Let's see. Okay. Oh, hey, Ham. Hey! What are you doing here?
Didn't expect to run into you here.
Neither. Well, I kind of had my suspicions, but neither did I. Do you come often here? I'm curious. Do you come often to our village to be unbothered reading?
Oh, hey, Thumb. What are you doing here? And what are you reading? Are those?
Sachin's notes? Yes.
Okay, we got late, but fair enough. I mean, we can't expect to outrun O'Hatham's brain.
I came across his profile while I was organizing some documents and became interested in his research. If it wasn't for that, I never would have agreed to being a commentator. I had a hunch after seeing the fragment of his mind, and sure enough, I came here and found his research.
Makes sense. Makes so much damn sense. So it was basically your own investigation, I guess.
Wait, so you've read it already? Are you alright? How do you feel?
Ethan doesn't give a fuck.
I think you may have misunderstood something. The reason Sachin chose that architect to inherit his research was that only he could really empathize with both the calamity and the humanity that these notes seek to convey.
Precisely. Which is something that Ethan doesn't, because empathy is not his thing, and he precisely tries to distance himself from the world. So that's never going to work on someone like Ethan.
Only one who resonates with these sentiments would suffer and begin to think of history as bleak, the present as perplexing, and the future as pessimistic. Empathy is a double-edged sword. Clearly, I am not the same sort of person as Sachin was. Empaths have many friends, and their wide social circle comes with certain societal advantages. But this also makes it hard for them to achieve their goals.
Yeah, that's why... that's why I mentioned before that Kaveh has this advantage, that when he's in a pinch, he may have someone to give him a hand. So yeah, which is something which is Haytham always thinks on how to deal with things on his own, because he's not an empath and he seeks solitude, so he has to think unless he's in a team. But teamwork is different. But in his own daily life, he has to think how to solve problems himself because he's a loner.
Why's that?
All important things in life involve other people. As such, it's extremely difficult to live a life that causes no harm whatsoever to others. If you really want to achieve your goals, you have to be prepared to make enemies along the way. Not everyone can deal with that reality.
That makes me think of... so if you check the abilities description of Haytham's abilities, one of them is every researcher who seeks truth, paraphrased, who seeks the truth must be prepared to make an enemy of every word he reads, and only then they can achieve they can avoid bias. And if you extrapolate this to Haytham's personality, he's not a person that trusts easily because he's constantly analyzing, and because he engages in himself, he's basically constantly questioning. So basically, everything is an enemy in that regard of true or false to him. And he practices self-questioning as well, which is why in his historic quest, when Siraj accuses him of arrogance, and Haytham says, "I never place myself on a pedestal." And that's because he doesn't tell this, but you can infer that he practices self-questioning. He knows his strengths, but he also knows his weaknesses. So it ties with his banner being named, when his seventh banner being named, caution in confidence. He is confident, of course, but he's not arrogant. He's cautious because he knows what he can do, and he won't hesitate to state that, and you won't be able to refute that because it will be the truth. But he also knows his weaknesses and where he does best and where he doesn't. Like, for example, we tend to make a lot of fun of him, describing himself as a feeble scholar. But he's not wrong when he said that that in the Archon Quest he was better off planning logistics and strategizing instead of taking the front lines. That was actually the truth. That's what he's undeniable skilled, and he can do well in a fight, but that's not his talent compared to like Sino or Dia that are more fitted to fight. He wasn't exactly lying per se. It's just that we kind of assume that you're definitely not a feeble scholar, But from his point of view, compared to you, I'm not as proficient in this, but I am proficient in the intellectual department of this thing. That's the thing, yeah. Anyways, moving on.
And that reality is like the material here. Objective, heavy, negative. But at the end of the day, for all these experiment results and conclusions, it's just one person's perspective, Sachin's.
Mm-hmm. So he's referring to the truth, and as in reality. But the perspective is subjectivity. So it shouldn't color, like, because one person says that, we don't have to believe that unless we make our own conclusions. That's basically what Haytham does. Haytham always questions things, questions everything as to make his own opinion. It's just basically what everyone should do. Critical thinking.
So, what are your thoughts now that you've read it?
As a scholar, Sachin was without a doubt a genius.
Mm-hmm.
He laid the blame for the darkness in the world squarely on humanity, experimented extensively with reliable results, and drew logical conclusions. In that sense, one might say his views were correct.
This is so Aristotelian, it hurts. Like, especially after me having just translated last night the chapter on Aristotle, and this is basically a theory of syllogisms and logic. Here actually uses logical conclusions here. A syllogism is basically two premises, the conclusion drawn from two premises. For example, you can say some sparrows have 4 legs and all the sparrows are birds. So you can infer logically from that combination that some birds have 4 legs. And it so logically would be wrong, but logically would be correct. But logic isn't about, and there was a point in that chapter that Aristotelian logic doesn't deal with if the premises are right or wrong, but if the conclusion drawn from them is the correct one. Like, yeah. So, like, yes, as in we say, for example, all like we take like in the example in the book. If we take the example, all the sparrows are birds and all ostriches are birds, that we can't infer logically that some sparrows are ostriches. So that's, I don't know if it's oversimplified in my book. My book is very oversimplifying the theory of logic, of Aristotelian logic. But it's basically this is basically what Haytham is saying in a very much oversimplified way. Like, in that sense, this view were correct because the logical inference is not wrong, but the premises may be wrong. If this is where he's going, I'm going to laugh and pat myself in the back.
So, people are bad, and things can only ever get worse? All of that's true?
That is not a question for me to answer. Someone else will arrive shortly. You can ask them instead.
Okay. Fleeing, I see. Fine. Be cryptic, you bastard.
All I will say is that the world is not built on correctness alone. Sometimes, being correct means nothing at all.
Okay, I'm going to pat myself in the back indeed. So yeah, sometimes being correct means nothing at all, because if the premises are wrong, no matter how logical your conclusions are, so basically, if your conclusions is wrong from two truths, if you fall into fallacies are false syllogisms. So yeah, it makes sense that he would bring this up, because fallacies are a big thing in debate and discourse, and he's from Haravatat, which is the school of semiotics and language. So it all ties together really, really well. Whose notes? What did the line with an accent? Yeah, I doubt he's going to elaborate, but I do hope that you do.
Lofty ideals may provide no defense at all against nihilism, but perhaps little decisions can. By their own choice, the idealist seeks to bring happiness to all while denying themselves the same. Thus, they shall never reach even the borders of truth until they wipe away the ignorance that blinds them.
That was the line that was missing, that Kabe didn't disclose. By their own choice, idealists seek to bring happiness to all while denying themselves the same. Thus, they shall never reach even the borders of truth until they wipe away the ignorance that blinds them. Yeah, that's very much Kabe, actually, yeah. It applies to Kabe, but it applies to basically every sense of borders of truth until they wipe away the ignorance that blinds them. The ignorance being the self I guess. They shall never reach the borders of truth until they wipe away the ignorance that blinds them. By their own choice. I think this is an important thing. This is allowing to be to reflect deeply, like again, but I had more time to reflect on the first part, but not so much on here on this one. I have to think more.
I've never been able to agree with certain philosophies. Even Sachin himself struggled to comprehend the notion of sacrificing oneself for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're an individualist. We know that, Ethan. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. I am an individualist too.
But sadly, all viewpoints will find their supporters, and the way we see the world largely decides our fates.
True.
All right then. I got what I came for.
And you're going to leave it at that. Screw you.
I'll be off.
But fine, yeah. I mean, his character is about making you use your brain. Fine, Ohitham, I'll take the challenge. I will think on that.
Wait, so you came here just to read this stuff? You missed out on a big get-together, you know.
I doubt that's going to bother him in the slightest.
Get together? Ah, yes, that makes sense. This is a good opportunity for that sort of thing.
Like, socialization? Yes, that's something that people do, actually. I hate him, you're such my spirit animal. I really, really, really resonate with you.
Guess what? Kaveh treated everyone this time.
Then I'm sure he packed up the leftovers. See ya.
He actually did.
And there he goes. Well, he wasn't affected by this research.
I love Alhaitham's goodbyes. It's like, I'm out.
He said that someone else would answer our questions. What do you think?
I think I know. Oh, it's Hat Guy and Nahida.
Nahida! Oh, and Hat Guy. Wait, so you asked him to take part in the championship? Yes, it was me. Are you surprised?
No, I mean, I kind of knew from the start.
Did you know that there was something wrong with the diadem from the start? And if so, why didn't you switch it out for another one? Because Sachin's research is not mistaken. He spent his entire life researching this topic, and these materials are a result of that. These are the crystallization of his wisdom. Yes, I was worried that the material might cause some disruption, but I didn't want to wipe away all his hard work searching for the truth. So instead, I had Hat Guy here help me keep an eye on things.
Seriously? I think you can stop calling me that now.
Why? Don't you like it? Well, anyway, if Sachin's chosen successor hadn't been able to handle his research, or if it had brought pain to more people, he would have intervened at a suitable moment.
That's why he was observing everyone closely.
And after all that, the person Sachin chose turned his nose up at his life's work. Pretty hilarious.
I was also hoping that this could be an opportunity for you to learn how to interact with people normally. But it looks like that didn't work out.
That wasn't necessary.
I'm still paying you back for your help. And the last thing I need is more reasons to be indebted to you.
Nita, what did you mean by Sachin's research is not mistaken? Does that mean that you approve of his research? Put it this way instead. Truth to me is like a shroom boar. Some people only see the mushroom on the shroom boar's back, and they conclude that the shroom boar is a mushroom. Others see only the shroom boar's body, and they declare that the shroom boar is a boar.
But it can be both.
Still others look deeper inside and determine that the shroom boar is meat.
Fair.
These conclusions are all correct in their own way, but none of them objectively describe the shroom boar. Paimon kinda gets it, but also not really. The world is the same way. No one, not even I included, can understand it in its entirety. All of us are somewhere on the path toward truth. Within the confines of our limited knowledge, some may blindly believe in the beauty of this world, and others may focus only on its evils. In truth, the most important thing isn't what state the world is in now, but what people hope it will become. But of course, I don't mean that as a criticism or a call to action. Ultimately, my duty as the God of Wisdom is to guide every form of wisdom to a place where it can find its purpose.
Fair.
That was a long speech. So what are you actually going to do with these research materials?
Because Kaveh, as the successor of this research, does not wish to see these ideas disseminated, I will seal it up. But even though Sachin's research could be considered negative wisdom, it is still a building block of the truth. If someone wishes to follow in his footsteps in the future, I will not stop them.
Fair.
I also look forward to the day that a member of the Vahumana Darshan can not only comprehend his theories, but also find a way out from the despair as well.
Vahumana doesn't have that kind of talent. Wait, you're not intending to keep me in Vahumana long term?
You're going to university, Skara.
I don't remember signing up to become a scholar. Don't you think I'm useful enough to you as a prisoner?
Oh boy, here we go again. You think so? Well, to that, I would say that in Sumeru, even prisoners have a right to an education.
Fair.
I hope that your studies in Vahumana will help you deal with your own fate and learn how best to settle old debts from your past. I will reveal your final thesis myself. I'm expecting great things from you, Mr. Hat Guy.
Welp. F. Okay, so that was it. Oh, and the curtain closed. So I have to go back to the Akademiya? Okay. Let's go back to the Akademiya. Yeah, I think Kaveh said that he was going to be there. Maybe he's around there. Let's see. Oh! Hey you guys, how you doing?
Where were you while the rest of us were eating together?
Doing my thing? It's not your business?
I don't recall being obligated to report my whereabouts to you.
Exactly, yeah, I kind of imagine the answer.
Did you go find another hidey hole to read in? You need to change your ways, you know. You can't survive on books alone.
Surviving on meals paid for by you would be harder still.
You? Whatever. It doesn't take a genius to guess what you've been up to. You were investigating Sachin, weren't you? It was obvious from your notes. However, I don't believe his research alone would have been enough to pique your interest. His way of doing things is disturbing, while you... Well, to be fair, your philosophy disgusts me too, but you and Sachin are nothing alike.
Wow.
I don't imagine your views intersect at all. Egoism and nihilism are not the same thing.
I did mention, I understand why Kabe would call it egoism, but like I said the other day, it's individualism. Thank you, Kabe.
My personal interests aside, Sachin's legacy is not entirely meaningless. He conducted experiments on a great scale and left his findings behind. Also, thanks for the compliment, but I'm actually just passing through. I didn't come here for the conversation. Well, not this one at least.
What do you mean? What topic of conversation could be more sacred among scholars than the exploration of differing philosophies?
He has a point, though it usually ends bad.
Well, based on what I've learned, Sachin and his disturbing way of doing things, as you put it, is very likely to have met your father 20 years ago.
Well, that was another bomb. Okay, wow. That was a blunt way to bring out a topic, Alhaitham. He's not doing. Well, depends on the mood. Maybe if Kabe's in a good mood, he will take it well.
What did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so... No. Surely that doesn't mean... Huh. So that's why he thought I looked familiar.
Ah!
My father must have gone into the desert due to his influence.
Uh-huh. So I was kind of right, I guess, when I kind of... Yeah, you look familiar. And I was like, did you know Kabe's father?
I'm afraid so.
Good thing I shattered that diadem. From now on, nothing like that will ever have to happen again.
The boundaries of knowledge are ever expanding. Someone else will inevitably pick up the same line of research one day, and Vahumana regards it as a reasonable research direction.
Fair.
Oh, not this again. Even if you're right and people are bound to fall into the same intellectual traps, things won't necessarily go the same way again next time.
You're missing the point. I think Alhaitham is making the exact opposite point, Kabe.
You have to admit that the actions of one individual don't always predict the behavior of the group, and vice versa. Take Sachin, for instance. He's quite an anomaly.
Yeah. Yes.
And so is the one who stopped him. You. Conflicts of this nature are indeed exceptional, but it will occur again in the future. You said it yourself. The actions of one individual cannot predict the behavior of a whole group. You know that not everyone would have chosen as you did.
Exactly. See, that's the problem. That's Kabe really has is too quick to pause and really understand what Alhaitham is trying to say, because Alhaitham always speaks in this form that it tries to make you reach your own conclusion. And Kabe did, actually. That he was like accusing, the first instinct was accusing Alhaitham of believing that accusing Alhaitham of the negative thing. It doesn't just happen with Kabe. Everyone else thinks that Alhaitham thinks negatively or thinks ill when it's not the case at all. Exactly.
Even so, I stand by my views. You can forget about trying to
I
convince
don't think
me.
he's trying to convince you of that, Kabe.
That's fine. We've been arguing over this for years, and I don't hold any hope of you understanding. The issue we're debating has long since moved on from who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks for letting me know all this.
What?
I said, thanks for letting me know. Hey, stop acting like you didn't hear me. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you?
They say that earnest thanks should be given thrice, so one more time, please.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Mate, he's a troll. Like, I put my soundproofers on. I'm not hearing you. Like, I mean, that was great. I love this. I love this sort of. I love the banter. Really, like. Made this like. I love Alhaitham. Like, if it's not evident enough, I don't know. Unless I find them somewhere else, because I kind of went in there and I didn't read their minds, but maybe there was no way I could read their minds. That would have been interesting. I love it because, you know, everyone thinks like he's so overly serious, but he's got this playful troll side of him. Like, I mean, sarcasm, as he puts it, is a way for him to rebel against authority. That's in one of his character stories. And it's like, yeah. It's one of those moments of like really great character moments. Like, I've got the sound. I've got my headphones full volume. I wasn't listening, so yeah. And Cav is like all outraged. You're enjoying this. Yeah, I am absolutely enjoying this. Go on. That was a great event. I had a lot of fun, and I was almost 3 hours in, but I'm not sure if there's anyone. I know I have to do this, and I'm going to. My plan was going to elaborate on this composition and how I interpret the Darshan placement and stuff, but I will likely do this in another moment. I'm really eager to devour Haravatat's new game. But yeah, so yeah. So yeah, basically, great event. I love the interaction between the characters. Loving, like I said, I really appreciate that they were letting Kabe be his own character and make friends, make pals. Like, especially with Faruzan. There was Layla too as well. There's Tainari and Saina. Well, the Sumeru bros. We know them. We love them. Of course, there's always going to be, by definition, the theme between. It's been a running theme this patch about opposite views and ideals, but in the end, that's like Cabe and Alhaitham were discussing, was this just this debate is never going to end. It's at this point it's past that. Who's right or wrong? We're never going to agree on that, and that's fine. Like Cabe said, they're scholars. It comes with the job to discuss and to debate and discourse. It's just that they really have a very toxic way of discussing these things. But I mean, it's added to the fact that people with opposite views, that extreme. It's not just their views. It's their personalities that mix like oil and water, and even so, you have them like living in the same place, and it's like it's a wonder how their house hasn't exploded yet. But but aside from that, it's the matter of the great respect that they will probably bleed out rather than admitting out loud. Well, Kabe would, because Hitam is just he's not really prideful. He has his way of saying, yeah, I don't agree with you, I think you're stupid, but nonetheless I respect you as a scholar. And he has his way of saying that. It's just that he does it in his own way, and it seems like he's never saying anything good, but the good things he's saying are very much between the lines. But again, because Kabe doesn't pause to read between the lines, his first instinct is to accuse Al-Haytham of being mean, and that's not the case. You have to kind of. So let me point this out, like here. I don't know if you guys have ever paused to think on the names of Al-Haytham's talents. I'm actually interested. Well, Kabe's, I've read the names, but they're different because it goes more on the side of art and a bit of Platonism. But so Al-Haytham's entire constellation and is based on his thought process. Basically translates to intuition, debate, negation. Negation is basically questioning yourself. By like you reach, you have an idea. This is easily best understood from translation in other languages. You have basically you got an idea, you got an intuition, you make an observation, then you discuss the observation as in debate with yourself. Because Al-Haytham usually debates things in his own mind and questions his own mind. So he debates, he offers counterpoints and points. He basically thinks about that. He got the idea, thinks about that. Then comes negation. Negation is basically avoiding bias, in which you counter-argument yourself. You seek. It's basically trying to debunk yourself and see how reliable your not reliable, how correct your conclusion was. So you try to offer counter arguments to yourself. This is actually something any Lord Diver worth their salt should do before making a theory. In that, okay, I got this impression. I have to make sure that that this is a fact, and that I have to counterpoint this with I have to try to debunk this and make sure if there's two outcomes of this, that it's it may, well, two, not two, there's a middle ground there, like it's either true, in which it would be a fact, it's unclear, it would be then there's room for lucubration, I guess. And if it's fake, then it's a fallacy. Then you have to, okay, this is a wrong conclusion. Elucidation would be the process of elaborating after negation. If it's correct, or if there's a hint that this is correct. Elucidation would be elaborating on why, on the why. Sagacity would be sagacity is having the intelligence to weave your arguments in the way to support your claim or your argument, and that would be the final part. That's structuration, in that it's kind of this is the process basically. Sagacity leads to the structuration, to the correct structuration of a thought. So yeah, that's basically how it works. And I don't know actually where I started going on this, but it's really interesting on how it basically talks about the process of So you know the line, the Haytham's, which is, I believe, is the best. So many scholars in RPGs that are actually fighters, warriors, mages, whatever, and never before I heard the pun on the process of elimination as from a researcher before Haytham, and it was like, this is genius. How no one ever thought of this. But if you check, the process of elimination is actually another. It's the it's the non-academic way of saying abductive reasoning. Abductive reasoning is reasoning by taking away the how do you call it, that which isn't relevant, that which is like the I know there's a word, but I can't think of the word in English. It's basically taking away the unnecessary damn it. Basically taking away what's not part of the core of the question, and basically what is critical for this, what is the critical question. Because sometimes we ask questions, like if you've gone to the Haravatat riddle booth, in that you unlock different options if you ask a critical question, and critical question is like the core of the core things that you have to ask. Other things are like unconsequential. So abductive reasoning is basically taking away the inconsequential to find the core and pursue the trail of thought. All of this, like the four causal correction, is actually an Aristotelian term. That's so very blatant. This always makes me laugh, because the law of reductive overdetermination is a long way of putting. It's a long way of saying more results with the least effort. Which is why it doubles the product when Al-Haytham has the chance of doubling the product when he crafts ascension materials. It's like less effort, more results. Elaboration on form is also another Aristotelian, because form is another term, Aristotelian term, and phenomena. It's also one of it can be also traced down to Aristotle. So yeah, it's really interesting. Is it really obvious? Is it too evident that I'm really fascinated by Al-Haytham's character, by his? I'm. It's like, how should I put this? Most people miss a lot of Al-Haytham's character, and I will probably elaborate on this. If I do the lore video on the line that I have to reflect on the second part of that statement later, but the first part already leaves enough room for a lot of lore implications. The whole quest actually does, but yeah, but it becomes like even more of an evidence when Nahida comes in and says, like, yeah, the truth is all of this. By the combination of everything that you may reach the truth. And then you have Al-Haytham and Kado representing the opposite spectrums, and then Nahida's like I said, Nahida's like the middle ground. And it's fine, she's the god of wisdom. She, of course, is going to have a better grasp of wisdom than because yeah, it's like wisdom is a combination of knowledge and experience, and Kabe has the experience. He has knowledge in his own thing, but he doesn't have the intellect. Well, not really. It's more like he's a genius in his own way. He's not a fool, but he is so much he's much more driven by emotions and his own experiences, and he keeps tripping over the same boulder because that's just how he is. He can't just turn a blind eye to others' troubles, and he's way more acquainted with the human struggles, suffering, and stuff. In the other hand, Haytham has the logical wisdom of how the world works, but he observes things from he makes the conscious effort as well. Just as Kabe makes the conscious effort of the conscious decision of taking things away from himself to give to others. Al-Haytham makes the conscious, which impairs him. Al-Haytham makes the conscious decision of seeking solitude, so his views are not biased. It's a conscious choice on his side as well, but also one that impairs him too, because he lacks the emotional input for achieving what would be qualified as true wisdom, in which Nahida would be the middle ground. So yeah, that's why I think they're all three are connected. Nahida would be the embodiment of the true wisdom. That's like a combination of logic and emotion. Haytham represents the pure logic, the cold rational logic, and Kabe represents the raw emotional knowledge of human nature. So that's really, really interesting. And yeah, so yeah, that's my conclusion. That's one of the reasons why when people reduce Haytham and Kabe to just the trope of, oh my god, they were roommates and all these things, like I said, I'm not a fan of shipping. My opinion on the ship in this case is do what you want as long as you don't bother anyone or try to shove your thoughts or your opinion down anyone's throat. But at the same time, I believe that it really impairs the comprehension of and depth of their character by missing out on the real core of this thing. It's like respect between polar opposites, and that in this case it's not polar opposition of the like I said, it's not like a polar opposition of compatibility. It's the opposite way, but bound by respect from being like the highest exponent of each side of the spectrum. If it makes sense, and it's why when people oversimplify what they represent and what their arc is about, reducing that to very very shallow tropes, very shallow tropes and stereotypes, it really, really, really rubs me the wrong way, because that's not the point, basically. Even though, I mean, I understand that if you do it for fun, fine, that's nothing wrong with that. But there's so many people that take their fantasies too seriously, and well, and they can't accept being challenged by truth. And the truth is that nothing in Genshin is canon in terms of romantic relationships, because Genshin avoids that, and it's fine. You kind of have your leeway to do your own thing as long as you keep yourself grounded, thinking and not thinking that, oh, this is absolutely the intention, because there's no intention here. All you have is what you have is bonds between the characters that amount to brotherhood, rivalry, friendship, respect. And that's something that I would personally, as a final statement, that's something I would like to see more in fandoms, which, because it's been something for, it's been like people seem to forget that those bonds are actually the foundation for everything. That's not the core. Romance is not the. Love comes in many forms and ways and shapes, and there exists familial love, there exists friendship love, and strong friendship doesn't have to always come out as a romance. So because some people have the dynamic to be best friends, but don't have the dynamic to be lovers. Love is like a consequence. You can't have a healthy love. Listen to me, the most unexperienced person in the world talking like I'm a love expert, but meh. Let's setting that aside for a moment. There's no healthy love in the romantic sense without friendship nor respect, and those are basically the pillars of the world. More than love. I mean, love is pillar of the world, but there are many kinds of love, and you can extrapolate that to bonds and care, friendship, family. That's love as well, and it's not, by all means, it's not lesser than romantic love. In fact, romantic love is just the romantic love is just adding like a physical sort of chemistry in there. And physical chemistry, you can just sleep around with people and not love them. Yeah, so yeah, it's very different thing. It's just like adding this element to. I'm just rambling this now. It's just, but basically, I was bringing that back with Al-Haytham on the screen right now. That Aristotle, in his writings, plays an incredible relevance to the concept of friendship, and he basically went as far as to say that without friends, no human should be forced to would be without friends, no human would want to see themselves forced to live their life. And it may seem contradictory for Al-Haytham, such a loner, introverted character. But you have to remember that he's not friendless, and he doesn't rebuke friendship. He just has his own way of understanding friendship, and he understands friendship in his own way, and he doesn't feel alone. He does have friends. It's just a difference. And I resonate with his idea of friendship as well. No one is really truly alone, and if they are, that's a sad fate, actually. But yeah, and I'm not a social but friendship, loneliness doesn't come associated with your social, your social interactions. You can have all the social interactions in the world, but if they're shallow and meaningless, then you'll be alone all the same. And that's going to be my closing statement for the day, because I've been rambling for over 3 hours. So yeah. I will be streaming. I'm not going to stream myself pulling for Baiju and Kabe, because I know that's going to be a complete disaster. And but I will be streaming, hopefully, Baiju's story quest. So I will notify on Twitter when I'm going to do that. So I'm not sure when, but I will certainly do that, because I'm quite interested in Baiju's character. So I will be seeing you, I don't know when, but for Baiju's story quest. So I hope you enjoyed the event. I surely did, and I have lots of thoughts. I also have to do that video. I'm still deciding if I'm going to do it on stream or record an independent video on that. But regardless, it's been a pleasure sharing the event with you guys, and it was quite a blast. See you around, and have a good day.